For most people, the first action of the day is a surrender. Before leaving bed, a glowing screen dictates the terms of their morning, flooding their brain with obligations, anxieties, and the curated lives of strangers. When trying to change this routine, people often wait for a surge of motivation. But motivation is a biological trap. It relies on your mood, and moods fluctuate endlessly, based on your sleep, your stress levels, and your diet. The mind operates much like an iceberg. We spend our lives trying to optimize the tiny, visible tip above the surface, our conscious willpower. But beneath the water lies a massive, invisible structure that dictates 99% of our daily decisions, the subconscious mind. From childhood, society writes the code for that underwater mass. It gets programmed to crave cheap dopamine hits from notifications, to seek immediate comfort, and to aggressively avoid any friction or difficulty. A rare fraction of people refuse this default setting. Instead of reacting to whatever stimuli the world throws at them, they pause. They step back and become the architects of their own inputs. You cannot force a broken operating system to run heavy, complex applications. To change your daily output, you have to rewrite the base code of your mind. That rewrite starts with a strict information diet. Your brain is a highly sensitive processor, and every headline, comment, and video you consume becomes a permanent line of code in your mental programming. We operate inside an attention economy, where algorithms are mathematically designed to hijack your focus. Every infinite scroll mechanism is built to trade your cognitive endurance for corporate profit. To block this intrusion, you must practice mental isolation. This is the intentional act of disconnecting from external noise, so you can observe your own thoughts before they are influenced by someone else's agenda. When the bubonic plague forced the University of Cambridge to close, Isaac Newton retreated into deep, prolonged solitude. That period of intense isolation gave him the mental space to formalize the laws of gravity and motion. Nikola Tesla operated on the same principle. He understood that absolute silence is the laboratory where original ideas are forged, entirely removed from the echo chamber of public opinion. Practicing this isolation leads to a state of ruthless clarity. You burn away the doubt and confusion, leaving yourself with a sharp, singular understanding of exactly what you want and why you want it. True focus isn't about straining your brain to concentrate on a single task. It is the act of aggressively deleting every input, habit, and distraction that contradicts your vision. With a clear vision established, the next step is building the architecture to get there through systems thinking. Elite performers do not rely on willpower. They build mechanical, automated routines that run regardless of how they feel. Every minor choice you make, from what to eat to what time to wake up, burns cognitive energy. By automating those basic daily decisions, you bypass decision fatigue and preserve your mental bandwidth for high-level strategy. You then channel that preserved energy into deep work. This is the practice of engaging in distraction-free, intense focus, where your mind enters a flow state and complex tasks are executed with precision. The greatest threat to this state is the modern neurochemical trap. Our brains have been conditioned to hunt for cheap dopamine hits, seeking the immediate gratification of a like or a text message rather than enduring the friction of real work. Overcoming this requires training the brain in delayed gratification. Every time you resist a short-term pleasure, you physically strengthen your prefrontal cortex, the exact region of the brain responsible for long-term planning and discipline. When Elon Musk sold his stake in PayPal, he didn't siphon the millions into permanent leisure. He reinvested nearly his entire net worth into unproven aerospace and automotive engineering projects, trading immediate luxury for the construction of a long-term legacy. Success is the mathematical, compounding result of a tightly designed system operating consistently over years. Even the most optimized systems will eventually face controlled chaos. The external world is highly volatile, and it will actively test the architecture you've built through failures, economic shifts, and personal losses. Surviving these tests requires emotional mastery. When panic or anger rises, you don't suppress the feeling. You label it, observe it, and shift the processing from your emotional centers to your logical brain, disarming the emotion's power over you. This creates a mental firewall known as stoic resilience. You train your mind to stop wasting energy on circumstances you cannot influence and channel everything into the variables you directly control. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius governed a vast empire plagued by war and disease. Yet his private writings reveal a leader who maintained deep internal stability, regardless of the intense external pressures surrounding him. Similarly, the meditating Buddha represents the peak of this spiritual equilibrium. He achieved a profound awareness entirely independent of physical suffering or worldly chaos. You cannot command the weather, and you cannot stop the storms. True invincibility lies in realizing you hold absolute, unshakable authority over how your mind responds to them. When you successfully patch the bugs in your programming, you enter a highly calibrated state. Your physical health, mental focus, emotional stability, and spiritual purpose align, which drastically reduces the internal friction that typically leads to burnout. This systematic approach extends to your financial life. By removing the fear of scarcity, you stop chasing money as an end goal and start viewing it as a quantifiable result of the value your systems provide to the world. This isn't an end to effort, but a shift in efficiency. Because your routines are automated, you find yourself entering deep focus more frequently, making high-level execution a predictable part of your day rather than a rare accident. You realize that the goal was never to beat the competition or reach a final finish line. You are playing the infinite game, a continuous loop of self-evolution and refinement. The human mind is a complex, neutral tool. Through ruthless awareness and systematic discipline, you can engineer it into your greatest servant, or it will default to being your master.